hear me?
Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Black, Never Broken, Always Empowered. I am Brittany, joined by my lovely co-host this evening, my husband Jamal.
What up?
Rich and Brittany. How are you guys?
What up, though?
What's good? What's good? Like you said, what up, though? Like you from Detroit. That's a Detroit thing.
No, it's not. Stop it.
It is. There's a whole song about it.
It is.
I'm not going to. You know what? Because the music industry in Detroit is such a historical thing, I'm not going to even argue you.
Yeah.
Because music in Detroit is definitely history.
Motown. I mean, I'm not talking about somebody signed to Motown, but still, nonetheless. I honestly don't even know who made that song. I'm sure Jay Will's probably like yelling it out.
I'm pretty sure Brad will jump in and say something.
You said what?
Brad from Detroit. I'm pretty sure he'll jump in.
Oh yeah, Brad. He's probably what's happening, what's up, what it
Fred
do. That's
pop
for
in
sure.
talking about,
But everybody,
that's my shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, how have you guys been? What's good? How's your week?
We're good. Since he's still chewing.
Yeah, I'm good. I just got off work. I got off work an hour ago, but it takes me an hour to get home. So
yeah,
I'm just not getting off of work.
Tough. It takes me 3 minutes to get home. I walk.
About 15 minutes. Uber ride.
0 seconds.
My original job, this is how it originally started. We lived in a house, right? When it had the 2-level floors, all that.
Mm-hmm.
The gym was right across the street. I could walk to work 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved from that house to where we are now. Gym's 12 minutes. Still not bad.
Mm-mm.
But then the promotion came with a new location, and that shit's an hour away. So every time I move to an area for a job or for anything, I end up changing jobs that require me to either go back to the area I just left, or it moves to still an hour away. So I feel like fate is saying you're gonna work an hour away from wherever the fuck you live. So yeah,
I'm not.
That's tragic, my boy.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. I've been there. I've done it. It's not fun.
Not moving. We've been here 4 years, and we've moved 4 times.
Yeah, we move just about every year that we've been back.
That's crazy.
It's all right.
No, it's not.
Maybe shit will slow down
Right.
eventually.
You out of the military, my boy.
You might settle.
You can
somewhere.
settle someplace.
But
Roots
she's
now.
saying this as if she's the one moving things. And as we're going to get into topics,
She is moving.
No. He's not moving.
Not changed.
Right.
Last
Is her
I
life
checked,
not being uprooted?
Is she still getting mailed to the same spot?
I'm sorry. I want this question to be answered. Which one of us carried this 400-pound fucking couch upstairs?
I understand that, and
Who
thank
carried it downstairs?
However,
She packed the boxes, but who picked these bitches up and
Me.
moved them up the stairs?
Teamwork.
That
Brittany
sounds like
carried a
her.
heavy box. Brittany carried the light box.
and then on top of that, I moved all 400 of your pairs of shoes.
No.
Damn.
You didn't move all 400. That shit was a train. You had 7 kids
357.
walking the
That
shoes
was-
in and out.
That was moving into the house. Moving here, I moved my shoes, your shoes, that anime stuff that's in the living room. I did all of that.
Baby, if all you did was move your body, you moved, and that
Exactly.
you still
No,
want to be
but
set up.
I
That
did-
matters.
I moved a lot of
Dang,
stuff.
so
I
anything.
really did in here. I cannot say the house, but I can say in here I did.
That's not the same. Anything that weighed over 5 pounds, my black ass would carry everywhere.
I moved
And now typically
2 things.
we'd have somebody helping us. This time, dude, no fucking body. Everybody was at work.
Niggas were busy.
I don't even think we had a U-Haul. We moved everything in a truck. Like,
We had, I think we had the trucks.
nah, this time from the house, we moved everything in our truck and cars.
Yeah, and then I would go to work, get off, go to the house, move more stuff while you were at work.
Saved us money, but that shit.
Tough.
We're gonna edit all of this out, right?
No. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
You'll have it.
My day was cool up until Snuggles peed on me. Like he came out saying, because he announces every time before he has to go pee, so it's
Every
not
time.
like, hey, I'm gonna just go to the bathroom,
like a normal
which
person.
is very close to his room. He
It's
runs
actually
out.
further for him to come to us to tell us he has to use the bathroom than it is for him to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. So like I'm watching TV, he runs out and he's like, I gotta go potty. So I'm like, all right, go potty. Then he runs back and he's like,
He also waits for that.
I can't get my pants off. So I'm like trying to struggle to get his pants down, thinking, all right, you gonna run back with your pants around your ankles. You got this, big dog. Like all you do all day is run. No, he immediately aims for the TV. He aims for the switch dock. He got me on the leg, on the hand. Like I'm trying to move him to the trash can. It's all over the floor. Like I'm like, why the fuck is this happening?
I would like to point out that I'm conflicted in this. Because if I was Jamal, Snuggles' ass would be super sore. But I'm Snuggles' uncle. And so I'm just going to blame Jamal. Why the fuck didn't you give him pants that were easy enough to take off?
I didn't put the pants on him.
So I blame you.
They weren't pants hard to take off, though. It's not like they had buttons.
Clearly, they were hard enough to take off because he couldn't take them off.
Barely. They were just
So I just blame
regular
Jamal.
shorts with a drawstring. Nothing special.
You had a drawstring? Oh, that was easy.
Exactly.
He didn't even have them tied. They weren't even. I was like, yo, like maybe they tied or something. No, I went to go untie it, and they're just like, he just didn't pull them down.
He had it out for you today.
Here we go.
He had it out for you.
Probably. Like we got into it, and I was just like, dog, just go in your room. I don't know why you peed on me. You peed on the TV. Like,
I mean, I feel you because we definitely would have had it out.
like my switch was out of the dock, so like it hit the inside of the dock, and I'm like, bro, like you got everything.
Brittany would have came home to World War III. We would have had that shit out.
And that's funny because I wasn't home either. Like I did come back to him being like, Snuggles was like, I said I hate daddy. I'm sorry. Like I'm just like, what is happening?
Oh.
That's why he peed on you. He hated you.
I know.
It was not there before this though. I want you to know that like he thinks these like fruit leathers that I don't even know if y'all have a Trader Joe's, but like
Y'all Trader Joe's?
We got a Joe V's.
I have no fucking clue.
okay, so we go to this like
The grocery store?
Is that a grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grocery store.
Yeah. We got Joe V's, which is a grocery store.
We have a Trader
Okay.
Joe's somewhere, but it's not close.
Oh.
I think it's over in this vicinity.
yeah, so
Trader Joe's is like Whole Foods. It's
healthy, like healthy snacks, like healthy stuff
palm
like that.
colored people grocery stores.
So that's why we don't know what's
like
up.
these little like
Completely wrong.
I mean, shit palm colored on Bissonnette. And if you from here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ain't shit palm colored on Bissonnette, except for the streetwalkers. That's it.
they come into your neighborhood.
Yeah.
They everywhere. I never seen it until I moved down here.
That's so did you want to wrap this story?
Oh, yeah. Basically, I got him like this, like fruit strap, like fruit leather kind of thing that he eats. He thinks it's candy. It's healthy as fuck. So it's like, cool, eat this. He had a great day. I couldn't understand why you pee on me, dog. So it's just like, nah, I'm over kids.
No. You thought he had a great day. You said you done some shit.
This day was unsatisfactory to him.
It was unsatisfactory as
What
fuck.
you thought was candy? You had ice cream an hour before you peed on me. Like, I don't know what else you want in your mind to make this day better.
Or don't hey, did you ask him?
I feel like there was no question.
I felt like you
I feel
assumed
like
that he had a good day.
Was today a good day for you? Why'd you pee on me?
I'm not about to go in there. Hey, bro, how was your day today? Beyond you peeing on me and you getting yelled at, how was your day today? How did you feel today?
You should. Like, yo, what's the problem? What's the matter? All right, what's up?
It matters. Emotional intelligence.
I
That's
don't
what you're
care.
teaching.
I do not care. I got peed on. My emotional intelligence was tried. I felt like a bitch today. Like,
That's it.
why did I get peed on?
Oh my
His birthday
goodness.
was
Wow.
awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, how was
I
Izzy's
don't have
birthday?
anything to add to that. My life's, same shit, different day. But jumping in to tonight's episode, we're doing a part 2 on our marriage episode. We are, sans the extra couples we had last time, but I also think that the extra couples did not allow us to get into anything in depth because we were hearing from so many people. So
yeah.
Part 2, you're just gonna hear from Jamal and I and Britt and Rich. But like just our perspectives of marriage, kind of like the for better or worse part of our vows and what that looks like on a day-to-day or, you know, what have you. So jumping in, I kind of wanted to talk about the expectations of or stereotypes that you had of marriage prior to being married versus like reality. Like, are some of those true? Yeah, because I think that's one, like for me, let me start. For me, one thing that I always heard about marriage is that, you know, your partner or whoever you're with is going to change. Like something's going to change. It always felt like marriage was a big deal. And people who are married always complain about the person they're with or whatever. Like, or you just don't see, my parents were divorced. So I didn't see any like real healthy marriages growing up.
Yeah, it was sitcoms or nothing at all for real.
Yeah, so I definitely thought that marriage would change something. And like being married, it's no different than dating for real. Like, I mean, as far as the way I feel, like obviously like we're married, an argument's not going to end our relationship, etc. But like nothing changed. So I would say that's one of like the stereotypes that I had prior to that was debunked in the last 4 years of marriage.
I would definitely say the only married couple I knew was my grandparents. Like no one else in my family was married at all. So seeing marriage was very limited, especially after my grandfather passed, when I was actually growing up. So I never had any expectation because he didn't put an expectation on my grandmother. She just kind of did things, right? So I didn't put an expectation on it. I also didn't do, outside of maybe like small things, I didn't classify them as gender roles. It was just things that I just didn't want to do, like washing and folding clothes. I just didn't want to do it. So naturally, like, here you go. Because I don't want to do it. But it was not
laundry.
After a while, and Brittany tell you, after a while, if it's not done, I will do it.
Right.
So if I'm in that mood where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to pass this kitchen too fucking much and it's dirty. Let me just go ahead and clean it. I'm not walking around yelling, what the fuck? Why isn't this clean? Or why isn't that? Or no, I just did it myself. So I never really had an expectation from my wife other than the simple fact that I'm like, all right, I want to see you every day. And so that I don't have to drive to your house and you don't have to drive to mine. We just live together.
Right.
We could have. But I mean, I also have the same but different view on actual marriage. See, my wife is someone that I deem worthy of my assets. I could just be, if that was the case, I could just be with her without actually marrying her, right? But she's someone that I said, no matter what happens, you deserve my assets. So I'm going to make it legally binding where you get those things. If something happens to me, you have the ability to have access to whatever I have left, whether that's a little bit or a lot, you have the ability to take care of it. She's also someone that I trust with my health if I cannot make a decision. So, that's the only reason why I legally, was not the only, but one of the legal reasons for marrying her was just access to shit like that. But I didn't really have an expectation, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't have any real expectations out of you because, like, coming into it, I came out of the military. Like, they teach you how to, like, do your laundry, how to cook. Like, we came up as cooks, so, like, I could cook. I didn't have a real expectation out of what I wanted for you except to, like, I guess be there with the kids to do more, like, motherly things, like more Pinterest-like things than, like, I could, like, plan things better than I could, like, because in me planning some shit, we'd be doing the same thing on a weekly basis. We'd be going to the park. I know this great park with a train and shit.
And I'm out. All I can hear in my head is, what do you want, Mr. Peabody? Go ahead, baby. Mr. Jamal's gone.
Okay. I can't say that I had any expectations.
Yeah, you got cut out because you left. So.
But we were on the same playing field. To me, we were both in the military. Even though he was making more than me, of course, that was the only thing that wasn't even. But we worked damn near the same hours. We done the same job. We done everything. So to me, there was no expectations other than if you see it, clean it.
Yeah.
Let's just live together and be clean. That's basically all I had.
Did you want to?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I just think that for me, it was more or less the kids, because the way our relationship started, like, we essentially lived together from the jump, and like we just kept going from there. So it was like, I've lived with you. I know how you are. I know what I expect out of you. Like, after living with you, you know what they expect out of me. So from here, it's just, do we want to do this? Yeah. So, no real expectations.
Do you believe that couples should have expectations for one another?
So, yes and no. Because, like, you know what you can and can't do in a relationship. And, like, you know what you should expect out of a partner. Like, for me, I know I can't do hair. So I expect my partner to do something to the kid's head.
I can't do hair either, though. So I guess I didn't hit that mark.
But you wash, shampoo, like, you take care of Snug's hair.
I do take care of it.
I don't do any of that. Like, if
That's
he's with
obvious.
me, yeah, something happens. Something happens. He don't even like me most days. You clearly heard he hated me earlier, so But yeah, I think that people should know what to expect out of people, and like place what you want in a relationship. Because if you don't say or set your boundaries or what you expect out of your partner, how do you know to tell them like what they're not doing? So like if your relationship's over and you're like, oh, I expected more out of you, when the fuck were you going to tell me what you expected? Like, there was no conversation or no set bounds as to what you wanted from me. So I can't live up to what you want if you never told me what that was.
So I hear you. And to an extent, I agree with that. But I also feel like I don't think you should go into any relationship with expectations of someone, because when they don't meet that, you're instantly fucking disappointed. Like, as opposed to, accepting the person for who they are, flaws included, knowing that there will be shortcomings, and like kind of and growing with them. But I do think that if something comes up, if there is a conflict or a point of conflict, because that's what a relationship is, right? You're getting to know each other. Even in a marriage, like, I'm still like, we still come to points of conflict because we're in a different part of our lives than we were, before. This wasn't even a conversation, whatever it is. Like, when that comes up, I think that's when you set, this is my boundary, or this is, what we need to do. I think that that's also a part of accountability, right? Like, it's easier for me to say you need to do this than it is for me to say, this is my part that I need to do. This is the part that you need to work on, whatever you say you need to work on. I just feel like expectations and me putting this on you is it's kind of like unfair.
It's not true though. Like, what if I'm always 20 minutes late and you just tell me
you are always 20 minutes late?
I mean, so for me, and to answer your question, Jamal, for me, if I know you're going to be 20 minutes late, I tend to tailor things to where your 20 minutes late becomes on time. So instead of saying, hey, we need to leave at 4, I know you're going to be 20 minutes late. We need to leave at 3:30. So now you're, oh shit, I'm 20 minutes late. It's 3:50. That's fine, because we need to leave at 4. It's like operating on Black people time. I take certain things that I'm like, okay, is this, I don't want to call it a flaw, but is this thing that you don't do very well, is that really an important thing that could make or break something, right? Now, I would say stuff like, I'm always 20 minutes late. That's not a big issue. But if you're like, oh, hey, I tend to gamble away all of my money. Yeah, that's a fucking problem. Okay, maybe we should like you not handle the fucking money because that's not a good thing to have, right? But you tend to learn those things within one another. Like, okay, hey, look, you know, you like to use your money, but for me, a compromise would be like, all right, cool, this is the check. Hey, you got $100, my boy. What you do with that money is what you do with it. Whether you gamble it, win 10,000, don't gamble, that's on you. The rest of this money, though, because you're not in charge of the money, will be over here for this stuff. So I feel like a lot of it isn't expectation, but rather can you compromise in certain areas? And if you can choose to compromise in those areas, go ahead. If not, then you have to have a real life conversation about what to do in the area that you cannot compromise in because you truly believe this part, right? You know, like I know big parts might be religion. Some people like, hey, I truly believe this, and then their partner be like, nah, not really, bro. Like I believe this over here, which leads into family traditions, which leads into this. That might be a huge breaking piece for some people. Me and Brittany decided because my family has traditions, but it's not like traditions. It's just what we do. Where her family has actual traditions. And so one of the compromises we came with is like, hey, look, 1 year we stay here and we do our own thing. The next year we go to family and we deal with that. For me, solid. Let's do it. You know. So, but I feel like instead of expectations, it's more of a compromising factor. Can we compromise?
I think that when you put expectations, you're putting yourself to you're wanting your spouse to do things that you would do, and they're not you. That's something that I've had to learn within this marriage is I might do something. I'm a ride or die all day long. It ain't nothing if Richard lying, telling the truth, whatever it is, in the face of anybody else, you'll never know he's lying because I got his back 100%. Now, when we get behind closed doors, I'm going to tell him about himself. But he might not feel like that. He might feel like, nah, hey, Brittany, I ain't going to roll with you on this lie. You know, you lying. And, you know, I'm like, well, damn. You couldn't roll with me. I roll with you every time. But
Right.
So I feel like we can't, I don't have any more expectations from him because he's not me. He's not going to do the things that I want him to do. But
I do ride with her when she's lying, though. I don't.
Terrible
Just
example.
leave her out there high and dry.
but
Just so y'all know.
But we do have basic foundation ground rules of there is a fat clause in our marriage. There is for him, his beard is mine. He can't cut it at all. He has no control over it. My hair, I have no control over it. I can do whatever I want to with it. Besides cutting, if I cut it, I might as well put a divorce paper in front of him. Can't do it. So, you know, some people are like, that's so childish. No, it's not, because I'm attracted to this. And if he doesn't look like this, then why the hell am I with you?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other rules? So I recently heard on the Breakfast Club, they were talking about like marriage rules in dating. And like, should you put marriage rules on, you know, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your dating relationship?
While dating?
While dating.
Oh, wow.
No, hell no. Because that while dating, it's.
You had rules for me.
I had rules.
Yeah.
But I had rules for any girl that I would date because like she said, I'm thinking of you how I want you to be an extension of me, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're going out, I want you to represent me this kind of way. Now, inside of my rules, if I said, hey, I want you to wear red, if you don't have red, I'm going to go buy it so that you can wear it because this is what I like as an extension of me. Hey, people say you dating him, you can't look busted. Why? Because I'm not going to look busted while I'm dating you. So, like, I did have those type of rules, but it was never like a, hey, wash my clothes. Now, we did generous things for one another. Like, I'm already going to go wash clothes. Do you need your clothes washed? Yes, no. But it was never like you have to do this. Or you have to do that. There were no rules, but we were just generous with one another to where it just kind of seemed like that's what we were doing. So not really a rule outside of you can't look busted. But I mean,
but that's why I'm dating now. Since we're talking about the for better or for worse, you know, the whole situation that we were talking about last week with the cheating and the emotional stuff. We have had contracts because it's like I understand he did something, but I had a role in it as well. On whatever it is that he's done, I had a role in it as well. Well, what did I do? Okay, we break it down, and now we have a contract. He wrote one, I wrote one. We have non-negotiables. We have ones that are like, okay, we can tweak it a little bit, and we signed it as if it was just another, extension to our marriage, because we're like, okay, well, we need to know exactly what the other person said. And mine came with what will happen if you break one of these rules. One of them is treat me like you care, basically, when you're mad. Don't be mean to me. Be soft with me. I'm your wife. If you don't, hey, I'm going to just think about myself, because clearly you think about yourself. I'm going to think about me, make sure my feelings are good. And if that breaks us, that breaks us.
Yeah. And we have we like come back to the drawing board again, like every six months. So the contract is good for 6 months, or the rules are set for 6 months. And then at the end of that 6 months, we say, okay, hey, do we still need this rule right here, right? If we still need it, it carries over to the next one. If we don't, delete it, move on. Is there any new ones to add within the 6 months? If there are, we add them. If not, we get rid of them. It just keeps us well balanced in what we want from the other person, right?
In arguments, we can say, hey, you're not doing what the contract is.
Right.
We're supposed to talk a certain way to each other. We're not supposed to name call. We're not supposed to curse each other. Hey, go back to the contract. We have a rule of, hey, let's take 5. We take that 5, and if we say, hey, go back and look at the contract, we are to go back and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do as far as the contract. If we're not, we come back, we apologize, and we start fresh.
That's dope. We don't have a contract. We're not nearly as that feels very organized.
Yeah.
Feels very adult. I think it's dope though. I think for us, we've always had like relationship rules, but they were never, like you said, they were never like gender role specific or
contracts.
Yeah, but I mean, they're things like, they're small things, like we don't go to bed angry. And these are like relationship rules we had from when we were dating that obviously carry over into our marriage. As we talked about in the divorce episode, like one of our rules is that we don't bring up divorce. Like, unless we fucking mean it, unless we're filing papers, like that's off the table. So whatever we need to work through, we need to fucking work through, and we need to work through before we go to bed, because I'm not about to go to bed angry. I like I like to touch you, and I don't want to not.
When this is happening, what time is it when this is happening? And is it close to me going to work?
Nah, I
mean, it is.
So like,
sleep in the middle of
we've gotten into an argument at 3 a.m.
Oh, fuck no.
No, so the argument started at 8.
Yeah, no, the argument started.
We kept that argument going. I was working at Insomnia, and we just kept going at each other. So it's 4 a.m. I'm home, and we have to end this argument before we go to bed. Now, mind you, this same day, we went out drinking, so we're both drunk. Neither of us have slept. Like, she might have slept. I haven't slept at all.
Nah, hell no.
I've been out. And now, like,
we'll wake up and come back to this tomorrow.
I mean, as soon as our eyes open, we go right back to it. But he gonna follow us.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. If you say, "Hey, we gonna talk. We gonna finish this conversation," we can't finish it tomorrow morning. You want to do it right when I wake up? Very cool.
Hey, you see me fall asleep on podcasts, my guy. You know who you talking to.
I don't know what it is. It's a family thing. They can go to sleep on cue. So I've seen it with my child. I've seen it with him, our cousin. They can go to sleep on cue. He's going to, if it's gonna be a sleep pad, he's gonna take it.
I'll tell you right now. You guys know how you have to be working at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Clock mark hit. hey, we need to wrap this shit up. I don't know where your last point is, but you better get to that motherfucker quick. So I'm going to sleep.
I feel that. And that's the other thing. It's like you guys said, with like arguing in a healthy manner type of situation. Like that's also something that we have, like no low blows type of situation, no calling each other out of each other's names.
No bringing up the past.
I mean,
working on that. We're working on it.
The shade of it all. I clutched my pearls off screen. That was how far I had to go to clutch these pearls.
I also will say, we do have like an unofficial, official kind of like sex rule. We definitely don't go more than 3 days without having sex.
Oh, sex.
Oh.
I couldn't hear you say.
She wanted to whisper that one.
I didn't whisper it.
I just didn't it sounded like you said sex.
Oh, sex. Sex rule.
It sounded like you were about to yell that out before Rich stopped you.
Sex. But yeah, so we don't go more than 3 days without reconnecting. That's what it is. It's coming back to home, especially when like emotions are high. If we have been arguing, like not even like a makeup sex, but eventually like we need to reconnect and be back on the same energy level. And that's what we view that as. Because
the second I get upset at her, like, so I'm not a touchy-feely person. I'm more of a keep your distance, don't touch me, I'm gonna break your face kind of person. And Brittany's like, I want to get up on you and grab you by the arm kind of person.
That sounds aggressive.
That's exactly what you did when we first met.
You during an argument, you're like, I just want to go to sleep. Come here, and I'm like, well,
we're going to bed. Like we're going to bed, so we can hold each other while we go to sleep.
Nah, don't touch me. Like I like my distance. So like if I'm mad at her, it's like keep your distance.
That's why we can't go to bed like that, because I can't go to sleep without touching you. So if we're angry, now I'm over here trying to put my toe on your ankle.
I was getting ready to say, if we're mad at each other, we go to sleep. I won't touch him, but all of a sudden in the middle of the night, I feel somebody's foot do like this to mine. He has to touch.
It's gonna happen. I'm a big person. If you're that mad, you can go sleep on the couch. I'm gonna touch you.
And he's not gonna sleep on the couch.
Yes, FYI, I'm not sleeping on the couch.
Not gonna sleep on no couch.
No. You're mad, you're that mad, you're gonna get in this bed or you can go sleep on the couch. I paid way too much for this king size for me to go fucking sleep on the couch.
You can't see it, but we have I have a 6 foot bean bag right behind him. And that is, if I get mad, I will sleep
on. That's the doghouse.
That's mine.
That's not. I'm staying.
He will not get into anything but our bed.
That's not even an argument to have. It's not even a conversation to have. I'm not going. You might as well wrap that shit up. I'm not going. So.
Yeah, Brittany doesn't let me sleep anywhere but the bed. Like I can take a nap on the couch. I can nap somewhere else, but like.
Oh yeah. That's I'll let Brittany sleep wherever. Like if she's just like sleeping throughout the day or taking whatever. But I rarely take naps, so that's not really.
But for a long time, that was a thing. If I got tired, hey, we're tired. If same thing with him. Hey, you're tired. Let's go to bed. Or hey, I'm going to sleep to go for work.
The couch is uncomfortable. Why the fuck would you sleep there?
Yeah, I've stopped many a Pokemon nights where I'm like middle of like. Everybody's like, yo, you ready to battle? And she's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, all right, babe. No, I'm tired. Okay, I guess we going to sleep then.
The fuck? I'm not tired.
Never.
She's going to bed.
It has been times where if I stay up too long, he will wake up, get up. Hey, what are you doing? I'm watching TV. Bring your ass to bed. It's been times he play Pokemon. And he'll get up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, hey, I don't know why you're up. But you might want to wrap this shit up and come on.
I've been in the middle of one of those and seeing him go. I've got
all right, well, we had fun. Time for bed.
So I have a question. What would you consider to be your most intimate moment that you experienced with your spouse?
That's an odd question. Mm-hmm.
Is it? It's odd to you. Brittany, do you understand that question?
Okay. So we've been married 7 years.
We have never been together.
whatever. See, it's long enough to where I cannot pick one singular moment.
Yeah.
That I would say is the most. But I can tell you one of my favorite was our first Christmas together. We weren't married, by the way. It was our first Christmas together. I was going through a bunch of shit at that time, and she was just a peaceful place for me to be.
Right.
And she had bought me the first time anybody had actually bought me lies. Let me not say that before I get a phone call that cuts out. It was the first time that I got something that I valued. Was like, oh my God, this is a great gift. Let me say that. That was not first.
You probably still get calls, but better than whatever you were about to say.
Whatever Christmas, I got my it was a Goku bathrobe.
That was our first gift.
First Christmas. Yeah, I got a Goku bathrobe. Amazing. Best gift. I put that literally like top 2 gifts best I've ever got.
What's first?
I don't know, but that's why I said top 1, 2 gifts.
He don't want to offend nobody, but now
I wore it like no. All my top gifts come from her. That's not even a fuck question. I wore that shit like nonstop.
As soon as you
Nonstop from the moment I opened it, I wore that shit. I walked around. I'm giving platoon meetings in my fucking robe. Sure.
And I mean, it's hot.
I'm giving platoon meetings in my robe. Didn't give a fuck. But that it was just that to me, we weren't next to each other, but it was literally one of the most intimate things. Like he really understood. Like he loves anime. He loves this. Let me get this gift for him that just kind of like matched everything. And I was like, this is lit. Like for me, I was like, oh yeah, this right here is it.
Mine would be our very first anniversary. So it's a lot first. But our first anniversary, we had just moved. No, we had been in Lejeune for a couple, like a year or so. We had been in Lejeune for a year, I think. Mm-hmm. We had our first. We didn't really have much. We, were moving a lot. We were going through a lot of stuff. We didn't have a lot of money. We had all 3 kids. We couldn't go out. We couldn't do anything. And he was like, put the kids to sleep, and I got something for you. And all it was is he took my Google Home downstairs, started playing music, and we never had a wedding reception. We had a nice wedding that was fun, but not a actual reception. And we just danced until we couldn't dance anymore, and then we just laid on the couch and talked and sang to music and everything like that. And that was something that I'll never forget.
Never.
Aww. You have an intimate moment you like to share?
Yeah, so your 31st birthday, like that was probably one of the most intimate days. So like that whole day, I had spent the day like planning her birthday out. We had started making her breakfast, and then we went for this like big elaborate day. So we decided to do lunch with 10 people. So planning for 10 people is already stressful when it's just me. I had planned to get her like this Funko like surprise gift where everybody's supposed to bring her like Winnie the Pooh Funko Pops. Planned a lunch. Lunch didn't go to plan. We moved lunch over, then like got a room, and then we did so much stuff that by the end of it, like I thought everything was going so shittily, and I'm like, fuck, like we had to move lunch because the place didn't have the bowl that we wanted to go to. The bowl wasn't going. They didn't have happy hour, so we moved over to another place, and everybody was like, I love this place. And then we were late to go to the photo shoot and do the selfie museum, and then they accommodated us too, and then everything just kept getting pushed back. So then everything was just like feeling like, this is going terrible. And this was supposed to be her makeup year. So for the last 3 years leading into her 31st, she just didn't have a birthday. Like, I think for your 29th.
So to say, I met you when I was 29, my love.
Yeah, so when you were 29, you celebrated your birthday. By the time you turned 30,
I was pregnant.
You were pregnant. And your 31st, was the first time that we actually got to go out and do something.
That's actually not true. It was my 32nd, but the rest of the story was absolutely.
Shit. Yeah, no, your 31st.
31st was quarantine, but the rest of the story.
Right, that's why I forgot
on
that.
Point.
Yeah,
It's okay.
You're
so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was a moment when like we had the room and we were looking out over the harbor, and like you looked up and told me how much you appreciated that. Like everything of my part had gone wrong, and everything on your part had gone to the best that it could be.
I was also on shrooms, so like nothing could have gone wrong.
I was also on shrooms.
It was a great.
We could just had you in the house going.
Never fucking know.
Never know. You really thought you was in the most favorite place.
Hey.
So for me, Jamal's a great gift giver. Like hands down, a fantastic gift giver. That's definitely one of his love languages. So I wouldn't say it was any like physical, tangible thing that was the most intimate. We do a lot of road tripping, like either to like Virginia to go see his parents or Michigan to go see my family. And I think it's in those road trips and in those moments, nothing like very specific, but the conversations that we're able to get to, because we're in the car for 8 hours, talking about just a lot of shit, a lot of traumatic shit. Like since my mom's passed, like just kind of being emotionally raw with each other.
Nothing like a real conversation when you trapped in a car together.
Yeah, in an environment where like we can't just skip past it or you know ignore it or push it back
or lie.
Exactly. So those are kind of the moments that stand out the most for me when it comes to intimacy. We've had a lot of like beautiful family moments and couple moments in general, like you guys said, but for me, I think it's those like very transparent, I've never told anybody this, or you know, nostalgic memories that we've had time to really fledge out and talk about. So
well, speaking of talking about stuff, how do you guys view, and a lot of black, especially for black folk, how do you guys view couples therapy or couples counseling? Do you guys think that that's something that couples should do before getting married, while married, when there's just an issue that you guys just can't see?
So, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite to say, you know, you should do it before marriage, because we barely dated before marriage.
To say to do it before marriage, you would just be like, hindsight, if we could, we would have done it before marriage, so it's a good thing to do.
So I do think therapy is a good thing. I think therapy is a good thing to do, period. Especially as a Black person, just because of everything we talk about on podcasts all the time, like just the traumas of that. But as a couple, I do think that couples therapy is beneficial. I was going to say therapeutic, and I was like, that's too much, too many therapies. But it's beneficial. I think learning before being in a marriage, like how to argue effectively and not, you know, and to get somewhere, what compromise looks like. You don't realize till you're in a marriage that like you can't just walk away when you're mad. You have nowhere to go. You don't have another place to go. This is your home. Like this is your person. Like you getting up and leaving has far more repercussions than it would have ever had when you were dating. So
just call somebody and be like, "Bruh, she getting on my nerves," because the first thing they say is you chose her.
Is that the first thing they say to you?
That's the first thing Noel says every time.
That's definitely not the first thing that I say, but okay.
Look, so that means you gotta start going to Rich.
I would never go to Rich.
Definitely not the first thing I say.
But I definitely do think that therapy is, it's arguably necessary. I think to a healthy relationship, but at the same time, we've never done therapy either, so. That's why I was like, I feel like a hypocrite saying it, but I feel like it's probably a necessity.
I would say that it not only is it almost necessary, but it's definitely very, very helpful because I think getting an impartial third party to help fix certain issues is the best way to go. A lot of people go to therapy and I'm not saying don't go to your pastor or don't talk to somebody about it, but oftentimes when you try to get that person that already knows both of you, they tend to pick a side. And so we always try, anytime me and Brittany went to counseling, we've always came out of that better. Maybe one time, but that's because I want to say that that therapist sucked. It wasn't necessarily that therapist was trash. But when we've had good therapists, we've always come out of that situation looking at things differently, absolutely doing better in that category. And so it just kind of helps us for somebody to sit there and say, okay, I understand what she's saying. This is how she's saying it, so that way you can understand it. Because that'd be one of the biggest things that I tell my therapist all the time. Like, I hear her, I do not understand what this means. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, okay, let's break it down. This is what she means. And then vice versa. And so I think that that's definitely a great benefit for any marriage when you hit those spots where you just can't understand one another. Get that third party that don't know neither one of you, ain't never met neither one of you, ain't got no skin in neither one. What happens if you guys are not? They can simply tell you, this is the truth. Here are better coping mechanisms. Hey, you guys need individual counseling in order to fix marriage counseling, because a lot of people negate that part. They be like, "Oh, it's her." You're like, really, bro? It's you. You need individual counseling, my boy. And before we even attempt couples counseling, to make couple things where you need to make you work first. But that's where you find these things out at. Is like, oh shit, maybe it's me.
Right.
And so that helps us going on, at least it helps me going further into any altercations we might have. I'm like, okay, hey, she's been saying the same thing for a while. Maybe you should start listening right now. You know, type of deals. At least that's how I take it.
Yeah. So. Any differing views? I doubt it.
No. I mean, so while we've never done therapy, like what Rich is saying makes a lot of sense. Like having someone impartially take a look at your relationship and go, hey, this might not work. And this would be a very expensive divorce because these are the reasons that you two wouldn't go together, especially if you're having second thoughts. Like that might be it. Like that might save a lot of couples from doing a marriage that like isn't going anywhere or isn't going to last the test of time, or like you're just doing it to do it. Like somebody told you, you shouldn't do that. And you're like, watch me, nigga. Bet you won't get married. Bet I will.
My first marriage.
Personal experience.
They told me you're not supposed to get married. Fuck you.
That's hilarious.
But I believe in therapy. I will tell people I have been to sleep therapists, individual therapy, marriage, all of those things. Not when I'm in a crisis. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, some people are like, oh, you should do it when you're, you normally go
last resort,
like damn near at a mental break. Sometimes you should do it just to do it. We did a couples retreat. They were doing you remember we did that in June. No,
I don't ever remember doing that shit. Like
you signed us up for it.
Hey, that's why I got her, because I don't remember that shit at all.
My boy looked at her like she was crazy. Like, couples with you, why we do
that? When he was based on New River, and it was like a bunch of us. They were telling us to write stuff on paper.
I remember that.
Good job, baby.
There we go. Yep.
But we weren't really in a bad place. We were just like, hey, let's just do it for fun. Mm-hmm. And I kept writing stuff about money. Everything was about money. He looked at me and said, if you answer the next thing about me and it has something to do with money, I'm going to get mad. I said, well, then, okay, you need to tell me more about you, because everything that you talk about involves more money. or money, period. I want to do this so we can have more money, so we can do this so I can have more money. I want to get ranked up so I can have more money. That's all you telling me. And he didn't realize he was doing that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, you do that a lot. Like, I don't, if it doesn't involve money, it don't make sense to you.
So it was able to open your eyes to behaviors that you didn't even realize were happening.
Right. Yeah, and you just really learn about you become aware of your own character. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of their character and their persona and how they come off to the world. So you tend to become aware of your character. And a lot of times you understand, oh yeah, that's me as a person. So I can explain me better as a person to you versus me saying, nah, I'm like this. And then when you see my actions, you be like, I don't know.
Or are you feeling attacked when I point out that flaw or I point out that character trait or whatever it is?
You become. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is beneficial. And I encourage all engaged couples to do that. I think doing a couples retreat would be fun. Like, for the most part, find like a nice little exotic place to go do it.
You get to. Yeah, and you get to just get rid of all of that nasty stuff that you don't talk about before. Like, all of that hardcore, like, I really don't like this shit.
Yeah.
They make you talk that shit out. So that way, before you get married, you're like, okay, we've already cleared the way of this. So now we can go into this, clean, or at least not dirty. We dingy, but we not dirty,
Right. We got a grass stain, but we all right.
We good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I have, I guess we'll wrap it up with so I talked to my bestie before we hopped on here, Jay Will, and he had said, we should talk about the difference between having a wedding versus having a marriage, which, a lot of people are so excited for the glitz and the glam and the day. And then once the day's over, it's like, what's next? I guess what I want to wrap this up on is kind of what advice or any piece of I don't know, wisdom you would give as a married couple to someone who is newly married or about to be married or in a relationship that looks like it's long-term, as far as, after the honeymoon period, what does that look like?
Oh, I'm about to say, because a wedding, it ain't shit but money, my nigga. Like, that contract signs the same whether you have a wedding or you go to the courthouse. That shit signs the same. The state don't ask you, did you have a wedding in a church or were you on the back street of Vegas? They don't give a fuck. They just want to know, is that marriage decree signed? Right. So I personally say, if you have the financial means to give her the wedding that she's asking for and it makes financial sense, do it. Why not? Make that day very memorable for her. If not, say, hey, baby, we're going to have to do that version later. Not saying at all, but we saying later. And that way I can give you everything that you have without making us broke. Because then the back end of that is we went broke trying to give you a special day, and now we have more problems to deal with on the back end. And then either you become resentful or she becomes resentful for the wedding because you did all of this shit. Marriage absolutely is an everyday thing. Every day is a brand new day of stuff to deal with. So the honeymoon phase does end. It does. Because you go from seeing someone once a week, twice a week, being able to leave each other's houses. People don't understand it makes a huge difference when I can just go home to my own house versus having to deal with the person that I am pissed off with. See, with family members, my cousin, if I'm that mad at them, I just want to go around. You know what? Now I'm going to my house. Well, with my wife, I'm going to go home. Well, guess what? He's coming with me. So,
right, exactly.
Figure it out. And it becomes every day. You live with them every day. You see them every day. You talk to them, or at least you're supposed to talk to them. every day.
Or at least you're supposed to talk to them.
Supposed to talk to
My
them
days.
every single day. And after a while, like if you do anything every single day, it does become,
Repetitive.
you become very monotonous, and you're like, oh my God, we do this all the time. Like, well, I mean, well, shit, we're supposed to be together 50, 60 plus years. So at some point, yeah, nigga, this shit's not going to be, fresh. But that's where the person that you chose, being with them is more important than always having something fresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where that part comes in. And so if you truly chose her or him, understand that it will not always be fresh. Now, you can do things to spice stuff up, change it up a little bit, of course. But at some point, I mean, there's only so many sex positions. There's only so many places you can legally.
But it's
Okay.
illegal places that I
Illegal
UNAB only supports legal places.
That's going to be huge consequences.
It's illegal places.
And I say your goal should be to build a decent legacy for those under you, a nice lineage. If you choose to have a lineage, I know some people out there, they just want their spouse, no kids, no nothing.
And I support that.
1,000%. But if your goal is to create a legacy and a lineage, you're both doing things for them, and so that way you can continue going on. But so that's just me. Wedding is one single day, but your marriage is definitely a lifetime. So and even the next one, because even when she die and come back, she gonna have to get married to me again. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to find him earlier next lifetime. The fuck? Why go so long?
Why I gotta go through all this trauma with these other dudes just to find stuff? Let's just.
She don't want me out
Let's
here.
start from the beginning.
I don't know, because some shit I need you to get out of with somebody else.
Facts. That's
some
awesome.
shit I need you to do with them, because I might not be able to deal with that shit. So I need you to do that shit with him, and not with me, because I'm trying to go to jail.
Your hair early, dog.
Let's see.
That's hilarious.
I'm not as long-winded as he was, but communication. Communicate. Even when you don't think that you talked it through, continue to talk it through. If you still have feelings on it, talk it through. Once you get everything and you get to a level where you're like, okay, I think we're good, talk about it again. I am heavy about that because but I'm heavy on that because at the end of the day, my feelings might not be the same feelings for the next day. My feelings for it might not be the same the next month. Example, when I got my tube tied, that's not a thing for just me. A lot of women say my body, my choice. That's not just something for me if I'm planning to be with him for the rest of my life. Because if he wants to have another baby, we need to figure this out. Because if I don't and he does, then we don't need to be together. Because that's nothing you can compromise
It's
on.
not fair to him, right?
Right. So when I came to him, I said, "Hey, I want to get my tubes tied. All the kids are 2 years old. She's about to be 3. That means that this step ladder getting ready to skip a step. I don't want to do that." He's like, "Yeah, I'm down for it." I talked to him until they put me under. Hey, medicine going in my system. Are you good before they do this? This is it. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. And even afterwards, we have still had conversations. It's been times where I've regretted it. It's been times where he says, "Oh, we might want to have another baby." Then we both said, "Fuck that shit."
Yeah, we looked at our younger one, was like, "Yeah, never mind. I'm not
Feed on the day. Don't do it.
Start over. Nah, no thank you."
He blessed me with 2 boys, and I gave him a girl. That's all.
Before y'all go real quick, understand that your spouse changes over time. Who you married literally might be another person 4 or 5 years from now because life experience has changed that person. So get to know that new person. Don't be like, "Oh, well, when I met you, you used to be." Well, yeah, nigga, because you met me when I was 19. We got married at fucking 20, and now we're both 25, 26 in our career. Or now we're both 31, 32. We're both 40, 45. I done went through menopause. You done went through a midlife crisis.
Right.
Like, shit has happened. You, Brittany, not me. She's already halfway there, so we,
Shit, I've been hoping menopause hit. That means there's no more eggs, no more chances, no more nothing.
Your tubes tied, it is the best.
But yeah,
You keep saying it.
And it's not that painful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any advice, Willow?
So all the advice I would give is trust who you are and trust who your partner is. Like, if for any reason you don't trust the person that you're with, then maybe you shouldn't marry them. And if you don't trust in yourself to be a good partner, then look within, go to therapy, and like figure out what's wrong with you before you decide to tether yourself to another soul for the rest of your life. That's about it.
I mean, that's real. Yeah, I do think Rich and Britt and everybody else covered everything. But I will say the one piece of advice I give to everyone who's, dating, single, whatever, when it comes to marriage is to find a person whose flaws you can live with. Everybody has good traits, especially in the Black community. A lot of boys were raised to be the man of the household. So you're going to see those traits in a lot of people. But it's the flaws. Can I live with, this character flaw? Or can I live with, the fact that he snores or this? Like the little things that every single day can get really grating if it's not something that you accept and can love that makes that person.
Shit get cute in the beginning, and then after a while, you're like, Nick.
Right.
It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be like,
let me pick up your cup at the
bathroom. Can you wait about 15 minutes so I can go to sleep and you go to sleep?
Right. Right.
By year 2, you like, nigga, bro, if you spend one more fucking time.
Exactly.
That shit ain't cute no more.
But also,
She just goes to sleep first.
But also friendship. That's another one. I forget about that, but I'm also heavy on that too. Friendship. My first marriage, I didn't like my ex-husband. I didn't like him at all. I had love for him, but I didn't like him. So when I fell out of love or stopped being in love, I could walk away real easily because I did not like him. I didn't give a damn. But when you meet somebody that you want to be with and be with forever, build a friendship first, then a marriage, or whatever it is that's going to spark from that. Because if you don't have that foundation, everything else is just going to be like, I can get rid of it real quick. Because I can love you without liking you. But liking somebody, that's really hard to do sometimes.
I mean, yeah, that's real. And like every single night, Jamal tells me, I love you. Thanks for being my best friend. Like that's the last thing he says to me before we go to sleep.
Soft day.
You see me, little nigga.
No, because every day I ask, I try to, I haven't done it in a few days, but every day I tend to ask Brittany, what can I do to love you today? What today can I do to love you? And then she'll tell me, she'll like, hey, today I need this. And it just lets me know what to do. Today I need this.
You write it down on your notepad?
It's day by day.
So her favorite color and all the other things.
All the other great shit that he don't care about.
Nah, it actually is a helpful thing that when he says, how can I love you today? Because I don't always need the same love that I needed yesterday. Today I might be feeling a certain type of way where I need reassurance. Mm-hmm. I just want to feel like I'm your one and only. I just want to feel like, it's me. Today is all you thinking about is me. Some days I say, hey, be patient with me. Today I want to go out. Love me to the point where you are like, okay, she going out and I can trust her.
Can I make a suggestion for a day? You ride his back and slap the back of his head.
What?
It's fun.
Someday I might be like,
I need a piggyback ride.
In a violent way.
It just all depends.
Yeah, but I asked him, like, when he started that, I started asking him too, hey, how can I love you today? What can I do for you? I've even done check-ins monthly. Hey, am I being the wife that you need me to be? Because if not, then, let me know so that I can switch it up.
Right.
That way we can still stay husband and wife. Because, it's hard sometimes.
It's hard out here for them.
I feel that. Well.
He started singing in his head.
On that note, thank you guys I mean, it's weird to thank you because you're not like a guest. You're supposed to be here, but
That's
thank you for sharing
Thank you,
and
Brittany,
opening
for
up.
being here.
Britt's been here all month, and I've loved it.
We
You might as well hop on the what the fuck happened this month next week.
Can we get you for BlurCon? Because we love to. I would love to replace you on a panel for Rich.
You're not gonna get nothing out of Brittany.
I don't care. I just like to replace you.
You're not getting shit from Brittany from anime, so you might as well go ahead and just do that shit by yourself, my
Not
boy.
getting shit from me either. It's okay.
Do that shit by yourself, my boy, because you're not getting shit from Brittany. So
That's hilarious. But check us out on Thursday for trivia. Jamal won't be there again. It will just be me.
You gonna be there?
You want to be? You want to be my guest host? Keeps going. So we're still deciding what the topic will be this month or this week because Rod, who was our reigning champion from this past week, is on vacation. So we don't know what the topic will be for trivia yet, but you'll know on Thursday.
Don't let Rich pick
I'll quiz, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Time to study for
You
shit.
said what?
Ain't giving us time to study for shit.
No. Well, I announced it earlier in the day, so you have the day. You have a few hours.
I mean, if you know Brittany, then you know it just comes off the top of her head. So like, it's whatever she knows.
My head's a very eclectic place, though.
It is though.
It's a very eclectic place. But until next time, guys, make sure you check us out on all social media platforms. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, share, etc., etc. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay unapologetically black. Have a good night.
Peace.